Right, I want to make my predictions now for UFC99. Just sort of slightly forgotten where I've written them all down, but never mind. So here we are. I was looking at the page all along. Right, I'm going to start at the bottom of the card and work up. We've got John Hathaway, the Englishman, I believe. 10-0, wins usually by TKO and submission. He's fighting a guy called Rick Story. Now, I can only find on Sherdog something called Ricky Story, so I'm not quite sure if they're the same person. I'm going to go for John Hathaway on this and say that he will manage to get a submission, I think. I'm going to go for a bar in the first round. I remember him being quite explosive last time, so that will be my decision there. Prediction, sorry. Denis Stojnik, 5-2. He's just lost to Cain Velasquez in his debut, in fact, which I think is a bit strange. He must be quite big to be fighting somebody like Velasquez in his debut. But there we are. He wins usually by TKO decision. He is fighting a guy called Stefan Struve, who I know from Cage Gladiators. He is, I believe, coming off a loss, but I think he will win this one. I'm going to go for TKO in the second by Stefan Struve there. Paul Kelly, he is 7-1. Usually wins by TKO, usually loses by submission. He's got wins over the likes of Paul Taylor and Troy Mandalonas, but he loses to the likes of Marcus Davis, and he is facing Rolando Delgado, who I believe is the tougher, called Rowley, but I could be wrong. It's going to be quite a close one to call this, I think. I'm going to go for Paul Kelly on this. I am going to go for Paul Kelly on this. But I think it might... I think it might go to decision. Yes, I'm going to go for Paul Kelly by decision there. That's quite a tough one to call, I think. Anyway. The next one, Paul Taylor, 9-4, wins usually by TKO, loses usually by submission or decision. His record is win, loss, loss, win, loss. So he's sort of on wobbly ground, I would imagine, at the moment. Wins over people like Jess Leodon, loses to people like Paul Kelly, Chris Little and Marcus Davis. So basically to all the names he fights, he usually loses. He is fighting Peter Sabota, who is the first German to appear on the card at UFC99, which is their first European card, if you don't, well, continental European card, and that's sort of 4 fights in, so there we are. Stefan Struve, I don't think is German, I think he's from the Netherlands or the Baltic, if I remember rightly. Anyway, I'm going to go, sorry, Sabota is 8-1, usually wins by TKO or submission, but he also loses by submission as well. I'm going to go out on a limb saying that I think this is going to be a stand-up war since they're both quite good at TKOs. And I'm going to go for Paul Taylor. I'm going to go for him in the second with that. So there we are. The next match, Denis Siver, also a German, 13-6, wins and loses usually by submission. Wins over the likes of people like Nate Moore, loses to people like Jess Leodon and Melvin Guillard. He is fighting a guy called Dale Hart, who is 6-1. It's quite a difference there in their records. You will remember Dale Hart because he was the guy who was involved in... He was the guy who was fighting Corey Hill when Corey Hill's leg snapped. He usually wins by TKO, loses usually by submission. The interesting thing here is that well, Dale Hart usually loses by submission. Dennis Silva can win or lose by that method. I think with his record, I'm going to say that Dennis Silva probably has the advantage here. So I'm not going to go for a Dale Hart win by TKO. I'm actually going to go out on a limb and say that I think that Dennis Silva might get a submission. I'm going to go for it in the 3rd round. I think I'll go for a choke of some sort there. The next bout on the card, Terry Eaton, again somebody who I know sort of from Cage Rage. Sorry, not Cage Rage, Cage Gladiators even. 12-2 is his record. Wins usually by submission, and he has never been finished. He is fighting Justin Buchholz, who is 8-2, wins usually by submission. Do I think that he is going to finish Terry Eaton? No, I do not. Do I think that Terry Eaton is going to win by decision? Sorry, by submission? I don't know. I don't know about that. I'll go out on my limb, if you pardon the pun, and say that I think it will be a submission by Barr in the 2nd round, but I wouldn't be surprised if that one goes all the way to decision. So I've got sort of 2 there. The next person on the card, according to this, Crow Cop against Mustafa Al-Turk, with a record of 6-4, who's just lost to Jake Congo. I think he's a bit of a can for Crow Cop to smush here. At least it's going to be a good stand-up war, since that is Mustafa's area of expertise. I expect he will lose by TKO in the 1st round there. Spencer Fisher is fighting Cole Uno, who is well, let's just say that he comes up, he's been around quite a long time. I'm going to go for Spencer Fisher, but I think I will go for him by decision there. I think it could drag all the way out to decision. Marcus Davis and Dan Hardy. I am going for Dan Hardy. Marcus Davis is actually American, despite the fact that he keeps playing up the fact that he's got Irish links. Dan Hardy is about as English as they come. I'm going to go for Dan Hardy. They both like standing and trading, so I shall go for him by TKO in the 2nd. No, I'll put it in the 3rd actually. Mike Swick and Ben Saunders. Again, I'm going for Swick on this one. Another TKO, I think, probably in the 2nd there. Jake Congo and Cain Velasquez, 2 people I both like. I'm going to go for Congo with this though. I feel that he might win by TKO in the 3rd. No, I'll put it in the 2nd actually. I think one of them will end up winning by TKO. I would like it to be Jake Congo, but I wouldn't rule out it being Cain Velasquez. Now, the main event is Rich Franklin versus Wanderlei Silva, and this is the sort of match where you basically damn the institution for putting 2 guys that are fantastic and that you both like against each other. Now, Rich Franklin, as far as I'm concerned, has everything that you would want in a sort of champion, and I have sort of been in touch with him quite a bit. I do like Silva, and I think that they are both sort of charismatic and fantastic people. It's a shame they have to fight, but I am going to go for Rich Franklin in this one, and I shall go, I think, for decision. Yes, I think I'll go for decision. Easiest way out, isn't it?